Sorry I've been away so long. I don't know why that was. I think it's because I went to Perth and then I thought, oh yeah, well that's 2 weeks of my life now. I haven't done anything since. It's just they've got a different pace over in WA, which, judging from what we're looking at the polls here, according to Yahoo News, which we all know is the Anthony Green of words.
The most reliable. Yahoo News also predicted that Rand Paul had won the election.
When? Wouldn't it be incredible if that was for the Trump v. Hillary Clinton?
Yes.
With a surprise turn of events. Local crackpot.
Rand Paul.
Well, he's hoping that they did win. In the meantime, however, we're going to be talking about penalty rates. Well, what the union should be doing about penalty rates. There's going to be a video about that that's going to be actually watched. This one instead is just for those real hardcore fans that during my most recent tours have come up and said, man, can you get Miss Love to shut up? Well, he's not here, so we don't even have to have that conversation.
We did that. Or the excellent compliment of the three of you look like ice addicts. That was the response I wanted for a thorough European Union analysis. Oh my god, 3 ice addicts. It's exactly the encouragement I was looking for.
They do have deep conversations. Every time we walk past ice addicts, always go, if God exists, why is there so many hungry people then, eh?
Surprisingly intelligent for someone that you didn't expect anything from. Yeah. Glad to be that ice addict.
Yeah, I know. Food for thought, right? And no food for them. So...
They don't want it. Don't worry about it.
They want ice.
Yeah. Get them ice.
That's not food.
Yeah.
So, we're going to be talking about the fact that this is possibly the best opportunity the union movement in Australia has had since Work Choices, which they did an amazing campaign strategy on. If everybody remembers NRL that year, it was the only time anything remotely political got a cheer at the NRL Grand Finals. Every year, I don't know if you know this, Ali, but there's always this tradition that you bring out. That does not surprise me at all. And good on you for it surprising you as well. It says a lot more about you than it does me going, oh, come on, Sharks, they better win this one.
I'm always perplexed as to who should I support. And I think the only knowledge that I have about NRL is that Russell Crowe owns one of the teams, and that's definitely not a team that I want to support. Every other team I'm cool with, just not that one.
That is the team of ice addicts. It's truly the Rabbitohs.
Yeah, the Russell Crowe, the leader of addicts.
Would love that guy.
Yeah.
He narrated the movie about Bra Boys. Is what they know him as, not as the guy from Gladiator or A Beautiful Mind. Bra Boys the doco.
That is kind of admirable in a weird way.
Yeah, it's
Oscar
lovable.
winners, what the hell?
Can't surf on an Oscar. So, what happened after Work Choices? Yeah, sorry. So every time that that there's a grand final there, they get the Prime Minister on, and then it goes, ladies and gentlemen, Julia Gillard, and then you just hear this cacophony of. Yeah. Doesn't matter who the Prime Minister is, it's awesome. I'd imagine actually maybe if Hawkeye came up, everyone would go, yes!
Yeah, I was thinking of hockey. That guy can't be booed at like a mass sporting event. He needs to be cheered. He was meant for that situation.
Yeah, of course he was!
He just sculled another beer. Like, he's now doing it on a weekly basis.
The older he gets, the bitter he gets at it.
Right, he's just losing taste buds. He can't even feel the bitterness anymore. He's just like... Oh, it's like Yogi Bear gulping on honey.
What are we even talking about? That's right. Sorry. Okay. Alright. So what happened is, when Work Choices came out, just remember that beautiful orange banner that go, your rights at work, worth fighting for. Thing is, that was mostly accredited towards the Labor Party, the Work Choices campaign, but really that was conducted primarily by the ACTU and the CFMU, which is the construction union, the peak body of unions, which is the ACTU. They were the guys that orchestrated that. That was one of the best political campaigns since its time, was your rights at work, worth fighting for. But it was mostly just a marketing campaign. There was very little grassroots organisation in it. They haven't had an opportunity, and the thing is, union membership, and obviously for stuff like you know, the Royal Commission so far, where it was just months of possible union corruption in the headlines. Yeah. So obviously, of course it's going to decline, and then the papers report after that, why are they declining? Because you just gave them 6 months straight of saying they're corrupt, where they're the least corrupt organisation. Definitively now, we know this because of that, which was obviously a witch hunt to begin with, because there was the Coal Commission in the 90s. They came out with no union corruption at the end, and they thought, oh, well, you know, just like you get a second opinion with a doctor, we better do this again. So they tried it twice, and this time they got 1. So granted, that's a massive statistical increase from 0.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's still...
100%, I guess.
Yes, true.
Well, not even. It's 0, so it's like it's not 100%.
Yeah. But it's
ridiculous.
Half as many as we have famous Veronicas. We got 1. 1 guy. That was $46 million of taxpayer money. The whole aim of that commission was basically to get into the mind, because all the papers could run is possible union corruption. And I'm sure the average guy on the bus would be thinking, oh yeah, I definitely weigh the word possible in my mind more than I do the words union corruption. Obviously everybody just saw union corruption and went, yeah, God, I'm not paying my fees, and they got rid of it. So it's declined now. I think it's down to like 11% of workers. It's abysmal. And it's sad, because as soon as that goes, recently everybody always goes, what have the union done for me recently? Which again, just shows what kind of an ingrate little shit you are. Doesn't it? Like, if somebody gave you Medicare, you should be paying for that for the rest of your life in fees for that. That is enough. The fact that they've extended your life 30 years and you go, well, what have they done recently? Anyway, okay, so recently what they did do, which was completely unpublicised as always from the commercial media, or as we like to call it, the Lane 3 media, which is something that we got from the Young Turks.
You know our source of information. Keep it a secret.
I reckon there'll be heaps of comments in there being like, this isn't the Young Turks, I thought that was Cenk Uygur.
Fuck you in advance.
It's very offensive. Go back to calling us ice-addicts.
Yes, I would much prefer an ice-addict than Cenk. Yeah. Not for any other reason.
Salt of the street.
I hate that guy, like, whenever I look at him. In fact, there's been a lot of comments of people comparing us to the Young Turks and saying, guys, you're filling a vacuum, you don't even know it. You don't even know you're doing a cosmic activity.
Playing our part, like an eagle swooping up a mongoose. He doesn't know why he's doing it, but it's all part of God's plan.
I just feel like I remember when at my workplace, which shall go unnamed, but I'm sure most of you know.
They probably know.
Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, we had like a union representative, this smoking Asian lady.
Hell yeah! Out of 10. Out of 10.
Out of 10, 8.5.
Man,
ED.
She ain't getting approached in clubs if she 8.5.
Yeah.
Too scary.
Too intimidating. Anyway, so
what a great rep.
Yeah, maybe that was the reason.
Yeah, so that's why you joined.
No, I did. But, like, I actually did join. But the thing was, from what I remember what happened was she came over one day and then, like, our manager just said, alright, so you all have, like, an individual meeting with this lady. So just go over there. She's just going to talk to you about certain things. Just listen to what she has to say. Anyway, so I go there and this lady's talking about how collectively it's easier to fight for rights than for individuals, and how if you earn a certain amount of money you'll have to pay $2 for the union, and if you earn anything below that they won't deduct anything from your account, and just telling us like how, I don't know, like I already knew, I guess, more about unions than her.
Probably.
But that's not important.
She does seem a lot like one of those hot British backpackers they get to do something for the Cancer Council. They go, I guess it's something against cancer. I really hope it is against cancer.
Yeah, and like I just was like, oh yeah, thank you for your presentation or whatever. I'll do it. Like I'm down for that. And anyway, so I get out, I signed up for it, and I go out, and I think like most people at my work will probably be saying that, you know, this was so interesting and collectively we can fight our rights, so they joined the union. But everybody just started paying out the union and just saying like this is useless and they have done nothing and they're all corrupt. You know, all those talking points that you actually listen to Andrew Bolt spewing. They were just repeating that. People on minimum wage were repeating like right-wing talking points.
Was this the majority of them?
all of them, without an exception.
That is
all of them, except for
unanimous.
me. And then I had to go like, no, like you should join it. And if they're powerless, it's because less and less people are joining it. So eventually they have to just go, I'm representing 2 people in your organization. As if anyone's going to listen to them. But if they say, I represent all of your employees, that's going to scare the shit out of them.
Yeah.
You know, these
Take a seat.
take a seat, please. And then they could be like, yeah, they could just say, no, can you increase, or like if you're slashing penalty rates, then can you please increase the minimum wage?
Exactly, because you work in one of the industries that just had their penalty rates cut. And why didn't they cut penalty rates in the construction industry, for instance? Because the construction union is still powerful. That's why they didn't dare touch it. But they were able to touch hospitality, they were able to touch fast food, all of these other industries, because that idiot Andrew Bold, what have they done recently? They do nothing. They do nothing, don't they?
Yeah.
Because they're weak. That's why.
Yeah, and construction unions are still pretty strong, and their membership has been decent.
This is why, right? Okay, this is what a union can do when it's strong. Because of the CFMEU, you still have a job.
Yeah.
Think about that. Otherwise, when the China Free Trade Agreement, again, wasn't reported in the mainstream media, all that was reported is that they're a bunch of corrupt bikies, which was pretty much definitively disproven. They, as a result of having some kind of strength still, were able to pressure the Labour Party to be against the China Free Trade Agreement. As a result, the Liberal Party couldn't pass it, and so they had to renegotiate the terms of the China Free Trade Agreement. What the China Free Trade Agreement originally said was, corporations are allowed to import Chinese workers and pay them Chinese wages to do jobs in Australia. God knows how many jobs that saved.
And also, by the way, just as a side note, China does that with every country. That's like, that's one of their things. And often, do you know what they do? They actually bring their prisoners to work at those sites, and they actually, I don't think they pay them anything. Maybe they wouldn't have done that in Australia. But yeah, in like, you know how like Africa now has these highways? A lot of them were prisoners building those highways, Chinese prisoners. Because after America, China's like the second country on that list that has the highest incarceration rates all over the world.
You should expect that. The fact that they're not first is actually saying that they're doing pretty well.
Yeah, that just tells you about America how screwed up that shit is. But they're not very, Chinese aren't very good at providing jobs. The only thing that they will provide you jobs for is like the service industry, so they'll like make you the bank teller or something. But yeah, if it's building a bridge, they're getting their own prisoners who like stole a loaf of bread now has to build. History repeats itself.
Yeah, they learn from the best, right? Australian made an aid. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the difference between a strong and a weak union. Now, the STA and the United Voice unions have the opportunity now, and what is the bet that they're going to squander it again, to become extremely powerful unions. Because imagine if they rang up everybody that's working in those industries and said, normally your membership costs, I don't know how much it is, $10 a week or something like that. We're going to charge you $3 a week instead, because we're going to get everybody together to renegotiate contracts. Because this is what's happening at the moment, even with those weak unions in those industries, 80% of people that are under collective contracts that are organised by unions won't be affected by these penalty rates changed at all. So, if you are in one of the industries that just got your penalty rates cut, join your union for Christ's sakes, even if this doesn't happen, because they will renegotiate contracts with their employers, which will protect your wages until the Labour Party gets in, which, man, I'm calling the election 2.5 years before the polls close. Labour landslide. And like, they're not winning that.
Yeah, and what do you have to lose? It's $3 a week. That's like one ice cream sandwich a week.
That's tax deductible.
Yes, that's also one of the things that the Asian chick kept on repeating.
Over and over, and at the end, yeah.
Like, I got it, I agree, I'm not disputing it.
But I can guarantee all the other ones were just sitting there with just Andrew Bolt's face going,
What does that mean? Does that mean I don't have to pay you? No, that's not what it means.
Yeah. Well, if it's tax deductible, are you getting the money in it? Yeah, I just won't sign up. It's just less paperwork that way.
What?
I'm with you in spirit. Be with them in cash. That's it, because at the end of it, even if that doesn't go through, they'll protect your money. So if they're protecting, because I think at the end of this, the lowest paid workers are going to be losing $6,000 a year. What's $3 a week? Or $10 a week? What is $10 a week? That's $5,000 a year, is it?
$10 a week is 70. We should have done these calculations.
But it would be less anyway. Sorry, we should have done this list. But probably they'll be the ones on $2 a week because they're the least earning. But even if you're on the max, you're still gaining $1,000 a year from that. On top of the fact that it is tax deductible. Can't say that enough. But on top of that, what he's saying is that this is actually an opportunity to get most of the workforce, because that's a massive reason why unions have been declining as well, is because in the old days, most of the employment was in manufacturing industries. So it's really apparent. You can tell the difference on a construction site between a unionized construction site and a non-unionized construction site, because on a non-unionized construction site, you see a lot of people sandwiches. And by people sandwiches, I mean people that have been crushed by cranes.
I think everyone knew exactly as soon as you said people sandwich what's going to come after that.
But in the comment section, if you're too slow for that, you're like, I didn't see it coming.
Oh my god,
people
that's
sandwich,
so
I thought it was cannibalism, man. Really, there is a massive difference between unionised and non-unionised contracts.
I wanted to try that sandwich.
But that's it. But like when you're in the service industry, the safety protocol that comes from union inspectors coming around isn't there. So essentially what happens is really what they're doing is renegotiating contracts, and if you are like most people, like me, who's somebody who just presses agree on the Apple terms and conditions, you're not going to read those contracts, are you? So you think that they're doing nothing. They're doing a lot. I can guarantee you, even in their weakened state now, it's always worth joining a union. But what they're saying is that if that was potentially worked, all of the work that moved from manufacturing industries into retail and other service industries, that could be reunionized again. And if you see strong unions in this country, I can guarantee you, you'll never see any of this penalty rates cut shit ever again. That happens in Western nations that don't have strong unions. Australia was able to buffer a lot of these things. The reason why America has such crap minimum wage, has terrible rights at work, really bad safety statistics, is all because they have extremely weak unions. In Australia, our unions now are at the stage of what their unions were, I think, in the 80s or something like that. So we will see all of those rights getting eroded at work as a result if the unions don't rebound.
Yeah, and like for all those, because as a representative of that industry, I think one of the reasons why people don't end up signing for unions or joining unions because they're afraid. They're afraid of getting fired, and they're afraid of getting fired because at least in the construction industry, people that are working are, in a sense, more skilled. They've got some, like, I can't be a construction worker just like that, right? I have to go through some. So it's harder.
6 weeks of work for that.
That's right, 6 weeks. So it's harder to fire them because you're essentially losing skills. In retail, unfortunately, a lot of the people are quite easily replaceable, and that's the card that they use, right? But my point is that if the union is strong, don't be afraid of it. They can't fire everyone, and
on top of that, they can't fire you for joining a union.
Yeah, they can't just fire you for anything. You can, if you have a union, they will tell you that they can't fire you for everything. So having a union is not bad, and
also the other thing that they do...
Legal representation.
Legal representation.
They do that as well, yeah.
And also, they at least inform you of what your rights at work are. Most people don't even know. For instance, my friend that just got a job at JB Hi-Fi, she said... They put this contract out to everybody in JB Hi-Fi, which basically just waived you of all your penalty rights anyway, and they just said, oh, we'll give you 20 cents instead. Is that a fair deal? And she looked at it and she said, no. That's not a fair deal at all. I'm trading $1.20 for $100. I'm not signing this. And they said, do it. And she said, no. You win this round. I left her alone. Everybody else signed off $100. That's why you should join it. She only knew that because a union representative in a previous job told her what her rights were at work. It's worth the money for that.
Yeah, you don't even know what you can do. The power is within you. Just unleash it.
Very good words. And I'm really glad because I feel like it's nice that we brought that into something that I think the stoner portion of our audience could relate to, because I think for the last 10 minutes it really felt like we were just talking to a bunch of migrants. They can't fire you for joining your union. Cannot stress this enough.
Yeah.
Comprende, mucho scranzo, konnichiwa. Alright, let's get out of here. Just quick addendum, we also discovered by, using a calculator instead of our idiot minds that stopped doing maths in year 10 that it's obviously not $5,000 a year to join your union if you're on, I think, like $16,000 a year. They're not taking a third of your salary. It would be $500 at the most, and that would be for people that are not on $16,000 a year. That would be on people that are on, start paying your HEX back money. Alright, see ya, bye.